Hi, I'm in Philadelphia, as you know, and working on this project, and I hope you enjoyed the video that I sent out today. I want to introduce you to a good friend of mine and a colleague, the Reverend Thomas Brackett, who's the missioner for church redevelopment with the Episcopal Church Center, and he is simply the expert on some of the issues that we are dealing with Joy here at St. Martha's. He has been aware of our journey. We met at the time that I started at St. Martha's and has been following us. And I shared with him in some detail what's going on with us, and he has some insights that I was simply delighted. And I wanted to take this opportunity to record him, and so you can hear firsthand what he had to say. So this is Thomas Brackett. Here he is.
Okay, great. So last night, Ernesto was telling me, Father Medina was telling me about the work that you've been doing together there and how that you have embraced this vision of new life that the Spirit has set before you. And he was moving along through some of the changes that have been happening since I first heard about your story in 2009. And one thing that Ernesto named really stood out for me. I want to go back and say I'm not really an expert. I'm the chief inquirer across the Episcopal Church about what works and what do we see as signs of redeveloping congregations. Most of the church today is obsessed with what we would call trailing indicators. In other words, they're signs you see after the fact, and they're not necessarily helpful in terms of predicting or understanding where we might be headed. But one thing that Ernesto, Father Medina, named last night is actually a leading indicator for congregations that are in the process of revitalization. It's an early sign that something really wonderful is happening. So let me go back to the trailing indicator. One indicator that people often misunderstand in the Episcopal Church is that when they look and see that their total membership may be falling and the total Sunday attendance may be falling, but the pledging is staying the same. And behind the scenes, the reality is that fewer and fewer people are giving more and more to keep their beloved church alive. Which on the onset sounds pretty wonderful, except that the baggage that comes with that is that now fewer and fewer people have bought control over the future of this faith community, such that when somebody like your very gifted Father Medina comes along and says, our best days are yet ahead of us, these very people can be the very ones that hold back the progress that the Spirit's calling you to embrace. So the flip side of that, when a congregation says yes to God and they open themselves to the stranger become guest and new members and new leadership, the flip side is that a leading indicator will emerge, and you might not expect it. But the leading indicator that Father Medina named last night is that there are fewer people that are holding the reins, that you all are letting the reins loose and you're allowing new leadership to come in, new committees to form as long as they're needed, and here's the kicker, that the average pledge per person is actually dropping for a variety of reasons, but the base of pledge is widening, that more people are pledging to come up with the composite whole that you need in order to not only fulfill your budget, but also your commitments to the diocese and so forth. What I heard in that is that your spirit is starting to show up in the area of pledging. That instead of relying on one or two or three, four people giving as much as they can to keep the whole place going, the whole of the congregation is being invited into the gift of stewardship. I wanted to name that, and Father Medina invited me to name this on video for you, because a lot of congregations don't understand that what you're experiencing is a sign of turnaround. And that whereas in this moment you might be tempted to get a little scared on this tightrope act you may feel like you're on and say, we need to pull back and quote unquote do the responsible thing, in reality you're in your springtime, in a new season, and if you have to borrow money to come up with all the seed you need to plant for the harvest that God is promising, now's the time to invest. It's not a season to pull back. You're doing the right work. The indicators and the signs are saying you're there, you're doing it. It's this moment. So keep doing what you're doing. Don't pull back. You don't have a balanced budget. People in a venture like this rarely ever have a balanced budget. Don't be afraid of that. So in reflection, in hindsight, if I were there and part of you and sitting in with your meetings and listening to your conversations in person, I would say to you from my heart, I would join with you in this risk. I would put my money on the line with this as well and say, I'm betting the farm that the Spirit is giving you another chance. So don't be afraid. Press forward and keep saying yes to God. That's it for now.